CNBC-TV18.
Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta, and dairy sector has been in the limelight, one because of the rising milk prices in various states. Then it also has been about the conversation about imports of dairy into country, and then we also are looking at higher procurement prices. We're getting out of the flush season as well, and the summer demand is upon us. When you look at the milk prices, India has seen a rise by nearly 14 to 15% in the past 15 months. The experts expect the prices to go up further as the April to November is considered a lean season for milk production. What are the other factors that impact milk prices? To discuss this further, I am now joined by Mr. S Sodhi. He's President, Indian Dairy Association. Mr. Sodhi, hi, thank you so much for joining us. The big headline clearly has been the milk shortage and the kind of run-up that we've seen in the milk prices in the last 15 to 18 months. What is your sense? Because there are concerns almost about further rising in prices from here on.
Well, let me tell you, Manisha ji, there is no shortage. What people are, saying basically because of some last 15 months good increase in milk prices, they're saying it's a shortage. Because when everything goes up, they call it ki inflation ho gaya. And when in milk prices go up, they say it's shortage. So there's no shortage, but definitely last 15 months, price of milk and milk products have gone up by 14 to 15%. But if you see in the previous 36 months, the increase is only around 18 to 19%, which is less than the food inflation, or I can say 6 to 7%. But situation is tight because of commodity stocks are low, and we have already entered the lean of flush season, but fortunately now farmers are being paid good price after 2.5 years. So they are getting good price, so they can feed well to the cows and buffalo, which earlier they were not able to do because of feed cost and increase. And in proportion to the feed cost increase, milk purchase price was not increased by the others. So what we foresee is this summer situation will be tight, but I don't foresee any shortage that milk will not be available. It will be there, but prices will be firm. But after the Sahara Diwali, because flush season is going to start, and you can expect prices to stabilize. And simultaneously, the feed cost now also stabilize or may start reducing it, because cereal cost, what feed ingredient cost is slightly now getting soft. So that is the plus point.
Okay. All right. I want to talk about the prices yet again. But first of all, with the kind of margins and higher procurement prices that the dairy industry has to pay, how would you then look at the foreign players, listed corporates, the big ones? How are they dealing with the current tight scenario?
Definitely their margins have reduced what they used to get 2 years back during COVID or after that, or before COVID. So margins of all the dairy companies are under pressure, and it will continue to be there till you can say September, October. But after that, it will be very comfortable, and there will be better margins available. Because when the milk price, because now you're giving good price, so we are going to get good milk in the flush. And simultaneously, demand is now, I can say, the growth has reduced. Because last 3 years, the price, retail price could not be increased vis-a-vis the cost of production. And other food products, whether it's the edible oil or cereals or fruits and vegetables or the poultry, their price inflation has been more than the milk. So naturally, a lot of demand shifted towards dairy. But with this 14 to 15% increase in 15 months, definitely I can foresee that demand will be under pressure for all the dairy companies, especially for the volume growth. So, but with the time coming when prices don't increase, consumption will again start increasing.
All right. So you're saying the tight situation will continue until September, October, and then we will see better times ahead again. I also want to talk about this whole import thing where we have seen one government talk about milk imports, which has led to headlines yet again. And the second thing is about the private import of milk products. That has seen an increase of 1,000% in the last year. How do you look at both of these?
Well, let us talk about this talk about the headlines of imports. Let me tell you very clearly, and Government of India Animal Husbandry Department as well as the NDDB has clarified, no decision has been taken to import any milk and milk products. Milk and milk products imports are allowed, but under tariff rate quota or under some concessional duty, no decision has been taken. Whatever 1,000% increase in imports you are mentioning, I think that base is very, very small. If you see the total value, it is nothing vis-a-vis our Indian. So that mainly because of whey powder or protein, some special type of protein, and because some whey powder is being imported for the use in the bakery section also, or some very exotic cheese are being imported. But as such, skim milk powder, fat or ghee imports are not much. But one thing is that what I think some of the city milk dairies, they had requested Government of India that if situation is not, situation is not comfortable, so can Government of India look into the imports of skim milk powder and fat at concessional duty or under zero duty under a tariff quota. So I think what Government of India has, what I have read is clarified is, if situation arises, right now there is no such situation, small quantity can be imported, can be allowed to be imported, but under two conditions. One is it will be imported by only NDDB, National Dairy Development Board. And second, it will be given, commodities will be given only to the dairy or especially cooperatives at the current prices, so that current price being paid to the farmers is not affected. So there will not be impact on the current milk or commodity price in India. So that is just only to caution and also to give assurance that we are watching the situation. If need arises, we'll take the action anyway.
All right. So no imports as of now. And if there are imports, then there are, of course, a couple of clauses there as well. The other thing is about the supply and demand mismatch. And that's yet again a headline. What is your estimate on the dairy demand growth in India? We've always discussed on how the per capita consumption continues to be on the lower side. When do you see supply demand mismatch getting over?
Well, I don't foresee in India the mismatch in demand and supplies to happen on a long-term basis. Once in a 4 year, 5 years, 6 years, the present situation may come when then demand is slightly more than the supply, and then we have to eat into our commodity stocks. But if you see last 50 years, every 25 years, our milk production has multiplied by 3x. Like in 50 years back, in 1974, our production was 24 million metric ton, and our per capita availability was only 110 gram. Then after 25 years, that is sometime 98, 99, our milk production increased by 3x to around 71 million metric ton, and per capita availability doubled from 110 to 220. And then again now this year, again after 25 years, our production has multiplied by 3 times to 222 million metric ton, which is a data recently released by Department of Animal Husbandry. And our per capita availability has doubled to now 440. So the way we are growing, consumption is growing in spite of increase in the population. Our farmers are producing more. And why our farmers are producing more? Because they are getting remunerative price. In the agriculture whole income, now animal husbandry and dairy, they contribute 30% to the agriculture income. which used to be just 4 to 5% when India got independence. So day by day, animal husbandry contribution to the agriculture GDP and national GDP, it is around 5.2. So you can understand it is going to, because you say farmers will produce what is in demand and for which they get good price. So if we continue with the present policy, and what is that present policy? Encourage local production of milk. So definitely I know after 25 years, we shall be producing 3 times more, that is 628 million metric ton. But our consumption will be not that much, because today 440, after 25 years, it will grow up to maximum 840, 850, not to more than 900. Because all over the world, the whole developed countries have also got more or less this much milk consumption. So we'll be having surplus of 90 million metric ton, and which need to be exported to the other Asian countries, because mostly all the Asian countries are net deficit and import of dairy products. Whether you take Russia, China, Southeast countries, Middle East countries, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all are importing. So next 10 to 15 years, you'll say gradually India is going to become dairy to the world. But if we continue with the present policy of local production and paying farmers very, very remunerative price, which we have been paying over the last 50 years.
All right. Mr. Sodhi, since you are comparing India with the international markets, even though we are looking at increased milk prices, even if it is until September, October, we've seen China, New Zealand forecast cut in milk prices going ahead. How do you look at that?
No, you're right. Last 1 year, that is April 22 versus this April 28, 23, the liquid milk price being paid to farmers have reduced by around 34%, from Indian currency 55 rupees to around 40 rupees. Same is in case of, if you see butter, commodity price reduced by 30%, skim milk powder by 35%. But that has happened because if you see, last April, the milk inflation in these countries have been 20 to 40%. India's milk inflation has been lowest in the world, around 8 to 9%. So they have, inflation has gone up very high, so their consumption reduced. Simultaneously, when farmers started getting more, they increased the herd size, they started producing more. So now again, it has come back, but it is still higher than the COVID prices. So it is lower than the previous year, but it is still higher than the previous years.
All right, that's a lot of numbers there, but I want to come back to India. And how do you look at the summer season demand? Because the consumption via lassi, chas, beverages, coffee, you have various varieties of that as well. How do you see that demand going forward?
Let me tell you, I'm not saying consumer will continue to pay higher prices till Diwali. I'm saying what consumers are paying, it is a very reasonable price. So they will continue to pay such prices till Diwali. There will be tight position. After that, prices will not increase, stabilize, maybe a little bit reduction here and there. But let me tell you, there has been never reduction in price of milk or milk products in the past. Commodity prices keep on fluctuating. Now coming to the summer demand is very good, because this year we are expecting yesterday only the weather department forecasted a very high temperature summer, and also the less than the average rainfall in the Western India and North India, which are mainly the milk producing areas. So one side, demand tremendously increasing, especially of ice cream. Last year, last financial year, most of dairy companies saw increase of around 40 to 50% in the ice cream sale. And this year also minimum 15 to 20% increase is expected. Same is expected in case of beverages, lassi, buttermilk, and as such milk consumption. Whereas during summer, what happens is milk demand increases because of all these things, about 10 to 15%, whereas the production is reduced around 15 to 20% with the average winter months. So, but that generally that is taken care by the opening stocks of the commodity lying with the various dairy companies and the big cooperatives.
All right, Mr. Sodhi, I take that line away from what you just said, that the milk and product prices in India almost have never come off even as the production has increased. That means the prices what we are paying right now, which you said are reasonable, are going to stay like that. Thank you so much for joining us today. And with that, we are headed into a short break. But on the other side, we continue the discussion on dairy with Jayan Mehta of Amul.